Welcome to Fran's Friends, and join me in my crafting journey.
Oh, everybody knows you wanna be one of Fran's friends.
Welcome to Fran's Friends. My goodness, it's April already. Today is April the 1st. I thought today when I got up it was an April Fool's joke. So here we are, April of 2026, and lots to do this month, but let's recoup a little bit about March. March was very busy, and I was consumed in the entire month of March with a project that I really took on and took wholeheartedly and took quite a lot of time to produce. When I was in Mexico, I was in a Mexican restaurant, and I noticed this stork hanging from the ceiling, and I took pictures of the stork. And when I got home, I got to thinking, how could I create that stork hanging from the ceiling into an art form using soft sculpture and AI. AI is becoming really a big thing, and I know that there is a lot of negativity towards AI. But how could you use it in a positive perspective and use it to create creativity? So what I did was I took pictures of the stork, and my son and I inserted and asked AI to help us develop a module or a pattern for a three-dimensional stork. And they came up with a pattern, and I painstakingly used the pattern, enlarged it, and developed the stork. We have released a video on the actual reveal of the stork, but there will be 8 extra videos very shortly being released on the techniques, the things that we use, like the canvas bags, the jointing, all these things, and how the progression of the stork came along. So that's going to be very, very shortly. It's all set. It's just being edited, and within the next week or so, it'll be released, even though it is part of March. So that was an incredible experience, and I'm going really anxious to try something else just from a mere picture. So some of the other things we did is we wanted to, in March, keep Christmas alive, because February, being away in the warm weather, didn't feel much like Christmas. So we did a video on a sensational Christmas table make for festive placemats. And what I did was I bought some rounded sort of board, covered it with a plastic so if it got wet it wouldn't disintegrate, and then covered it with the tablecloth fabric to add on to my 12-month table decor. So that was interesting. Also, what I found when I was looking through some books, I found a pattern for a God's eye. Now, I did a video in Mexico on the significance of what the God's eye mean, and this is Christmas tree. So April, I'm going to try this and do it in the green, because the theme of my 12-month Christmas is Christmas trees. So that will give me a memory of the Mexican holiday as well as a Christmas ornament tree. So that will be fun for April. So again, lots of things that we can be coming up with. It's interesting that also in April, it's the first week, and the first weekend of April is Easter weekend. So what I also did is, for table decor, I from the dollar store, I picked up these little cheap little or hard felt Easter bunnies, and I made them into part of the decor for a table center. And I did 4 of them, and they're all done in different colors. And because it didn't take too much to do, this little start project caused some issues with my hands, because I was working with hard canvas once it was painted, and putting dull needles into it was a little bit difficult. So this month I'm going to have to maybe take a little bit of care for my hand. So those are some of the things that we started off for the 1st of April with my Paper Mâché egg. When I actually did the stork, I had purchased this Easter egg comes in 2 pieces, and what you do is you open it and you put chocolate eggs in it, and that's your, Easter gift. I'm not into chocolate, what I had done is I was going to use it for the insert to give the body of the stork weight, and I had bought aquarium gravel, and I put the aquarium gravel in, and then I taped it all together. But when I went to do the stork, when I went to insert the weight, I couldn't get the polyester stuffing to fit flat, so I had to abandon the actual use of the egg. So, and it worked out okay because the amount of polyester fiber I put in gave it enough weight for it either to stand straight or even to hang nicely. So I had this Easter egg thing left over, and what was I going to do with it? Throw it out? And I hate to throw things out. I like to preferably recycle or upcycle them. So what I did was, I thought, okay, when I was looking at that stork hanging from the ceiling, I thought, is that paper mache painted, or is that ceramics? So I thought, okay, I'm not going to use cloth on this thing. I'm not going to just paint it because it would show all the lines of the tape marks. So I thought, okay, I went online as a resource and looked up using paper mache mixes. There were several. There was flour and water, a boiled flour and water mix, starch. I wanted glue and water and glue and flour and water and all kinds of stuff. So I looked at about 4 or 5 of them. Now, I wanted something that wasn't messy. Some of them, by the time you dipped your paper in, and usually they were using newsprint, and there's the inks on the newsprint, so you got guck and mess all over everywhere. So what I did was, one of the mixes called for just glue and water. So I went to the dollar store and we got glue, and you mix it half and half. You mix it until you've got a little bit of it, like a drippy, sort of like ice milk kind of mixture. And then I thought, okay, what kind of a paper am I going to use? Because I don't want to use newsprint. And that regular harder paper is a little bit be hard to use. So I thought, I buy the napkins, paper napkins from the dollar store for my meals. And so what I did was I took them and I ripped them and gently just glued the napkin onto the egg. And I thought, I don't know if this is going to work, but it did. And I was able to put several layers all around the egg. And then once it was dry, which took 2 days, then I painted it. Painted it multiple times with just my usual dollar store acrylic paints. And this is what it came out to look like. So this is, and actually how it works is the gravel in it, if you move it around, it makes it so it will stand. So that worked out really well. And I just put some hearts on it. And I thought, didn't take too long. And that's part of my Easter table decor. Then also what I did was the dollar store had these really little rabbits. And these rabbits were just a hard felt. So what I did was I took heat and bond, put it onto the felt, and I took fabric in just a peaky color or Eastery color, and I ironed it on, and then I just put a face, heat and bond felt face on, felt ears, and then what I did was stitched around with blanket stitch with my floss, and there we have it. So now I made 4 of them, 1 for each of the plates, and they can even just stand by the egg. So that's a start. I might do 1 or 2 more little things if I can before Easter, which is coming up on Sunday. So that was one of the things I did to kind of catch up. One of the things I wasn't able to do, as I had mentioned in some of my videos, was I was going to do the Christmas tree little coasters using the technique of using bits and pieces and usually making it into little squares. And I thought, okay, well, I'll maybe catch that up in April. And I will make the attempt to do the God's Eye. I think that's kind of a neat idea. So let's talk about resources. Didn't have many resources other than the YouTube Paper Mâché, which was very simple, easy. Then I found a couple by one called Amy, and Amy works with the beads, and I had done the tree beads for February, and also this Amy has a bee and an angel. So that's a good resource to go to, because I think beading is a really interesting new technique that can be used to embellish your projects. Another one was using felts, and this was Felt Creaciones, I think it's a Mexican, by Luzme. It's Luzme, and she really small little projects like little roosters or little trees, and she uses a lot of beads and embroidery to really gussy them up, and they're really adorable. Now, the other interesting thing for resources that I'm going to start working on is I've done some resource work on how to set up for crafting fairs and, crafting tables for people that sell their stuff. And I had a call the other day from the lovely lady from the Vancouver Island Exhibition asking me if I wanted my own table this year. And I said, absolutely. That way it will give me an opportunity to really enhance and work on sending out the message about the website. So those are some of the things that we were doing. Now, I did mention last month about huglets, and I've been going through the 24, 25 huglets that cards that I received, and I'll be doing a posting on what I came up with that. So let's talk about April again. Another busy month. Time goes by, lots of fun. And as I say, I will have to be a little bit more careful. And what I am going to do is, over the last few years, I've added a lot to my Easter decor. So I think what I'm going to do, maybe Friday or Saturday, is pull out all the Easter stuff, have a look at it, and see how I can either add a small piece to an existing decor, or with me, even this new one, what else I could do to enhance it. So that'll keep me busy until the end of Easter Monday. And then what I really want to do in April is to carry on. I'd like to look more into picking out some more of the Pinterest patterns for bears, and looking at, now that I no longer am able to get Lisa Pay's masterclass patterns, I'm going to really focus more and more on the AI patterns and making the patterns from Pinterest, enlarging them and that type of thing, to expand the portfolio for the website. So I'm going to play around with that quite a bit. And other than that, it's also time to start thinking, when we talk about Easter bunnies and rabbits, those little fluffy rabbit things that hang from your ceiling, and I forget what they call it, needs to be dusted off from my ceiling. So I'm going to have to start thinking about doing a little bit more housework. So again, April, that is month 4, amazing, and lots to learn, lots to do, and lots to really look forward to. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon. Bye for now.
Yeah!